Close your eyes for a second. Imagine a cold, foggy street in London, 1847. A small shop opens on Bond Street. It's unassuming, smelling of raw tobacco and paper. The man behind the counter is named Philip Morris. At that moment, he isn't a corporate titan. He's just a tobacconist. But here's the twist. That tiny shop didn't just sell cigarettes, it sparked a chain reaction that would eventually control 15% of the international cigarette market and create one of the most controversial, wealthy, and powerful entities in human history. Welcome back to Master Plan. Today, we aren't just talking about a company. We are deconstructing a master plan that spans 3 centuries. We are diving into the empire of Philip Morris International, PMI. How did a small London shop become a global powerhouse that survived lawsuits, bans, and cultural shifts? And why are they now trying to tell you to stop smoking? Buckle up, because the story of Philip Morris is a masterclass in marketing, lobbying, and the ultimate corporate pivot. 2. The birth of a legend and a cowboy. Philip Morris died in 1873, but his family took the business to the next level. By 1902, they incorporated in New York. However, the real master plan didn't kick in until 1924, when they introduced a brand you might have heard of, Marlboro. Now here is a piece of trivia for your intellectual arsenal. Marlboro was originally marketed as a woman's cigarette. The slogan was, "Mild as May." It even had a red tip to hide lipstick stains. But it wasn't a hit. It was a niche product. Then came the 1950s. The medical world started whispering, then screaming, about the links between smoking and lung cancer. Philip Morris faced its first existential crisis. Their response? One of the greatest psychological rebrands in history. They hired Leo Burnett, who created the Marlboro Man. They took a feminine cigarette and associated it with the ultimate symbol of rugged American masculinity, the cowboy. By 1972, Marlboro became the best-selling cigarette in the world. They didn't sell tobacco, they sold freedom, rebellion, and the open range. Do you see the strategy? When the product is under fire, you sell an identity. 3. The science of addiction and the tobacco wars. As we move into the 70s and 80s, Philip Morris wasn't just a marketing machine, it was a chemistry lab. To understand the master plan of Philip Morris, you have to understand freebase nicotine. Internal documents later revealed that the company looked at the chemistry of smoke. By adding ammonia to the tobacco, they increased the hit of nicotine to the brain. It made the cigarettes more addictive without increasing the nicotine content on the label. This is the hidden knowledge that kept the empire growing even as taxes rose and advertising was banned. But the 90s brought the tobacco wars. 46 U.S. states sued the major tobacco companies. The result? The Master Settlement Agreement of 1998. The industry had to pay over $206 billion. Most companies would have folded. Philip Morris? They restructured. In 2008, they split into 2. Altria, handling the U.S., and Philip Morris International, PMI, handling the rest of the world. Why? To protect the international profits from U.S. lawsuits. It was a chess move that allowed PMI to expand aggressively into emerging markets in Asia and Africa, where regulations were thinner. 4. The Great Pivot, a smoke-free future? Now, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to think deeply about it. If you owned a company that made billions selling cigarettes, would you tell your customers to quit? In 2016, Philip Morris International did exactly that. They announced a new mission, delivering a smoke-free future. This sounds like a paradox. It's like a fast food giant telling you to stop eating burgers. But this is where the master plan gets sophisticated. They realized that the combustible cigarette was a dying business model in the West. Global smoking rates are declining by roughly 1% to 2% a year. So they spent over $12.5 billion since 2008 on R&D. The result? IQOS. This is a heat-not-burn device. The logic is simple. If you burn tobacco at 800 degrees Celsius, you get smoke and tar. If you heat it to 350 degrees Celsius, you get a nicotine aerosol with, allegedly, 95% fewer harmful chemicals. Is this health conscious? Or is it a brilliant way to bypass tobacco taxes and indoor smoking bans? By rebranding as a tech and science company, PMI is attempting to shed the big tobacco villain image and become a wellness provider. They even acquired Vectura, a company that makes asthma inhalers. Think about the irony. The company that contributed to respiratory issues now owns the technology to treat them. The financial fortress. Let's look at the numbers, because at Master Plan, we follow the money. Despite the smoke-free talk, PMI still ships over 600 billion cigarettes a year. Their margins are legendary. It costs very little to produce a cigarette, but the brand loyalty is so high that they can raise prices almost every year without losing customers. This is what Warren Buffett calls a moat. In 2023, PMI's net revenues were roughly $35.2 billion. Over 36% of that now comes from smoke-free products. They aren't just surviving, they are transitioning. They are currently the only tobacco company that has successfully convinced investors that they are a growth stock again. But here is the controversial part for our discussion. Critics argue that while they promote smoke-free in wealthy countries like the UK and Switzerland, they are still aggressively marketing traditional cigarettes in Indonesia, Nigeria, and Egypt. Is it a transformation or is it a two-faced strategy? 6. The Master Plan Analysis. So what can we learn from the saga of Philip Morris for our own master plans? Adaptation is survival. They didn't fight the anti-smoking movement to the death. They eventually joined it on their own terms. Brand is everything. Marlboro is more than a product, it's a cultural icon. Even today, the chevron on the pack is recognized globally. The pivot must be radical. They didn't just make a better cigarette. They invented a new category, heat not burn, to disrupt themselves before someone else did. The story of Philip Morris is a dark reflection of capitalism's power to reinvent itself. It's a story of science, manipulation, and incredible resilience. Whether you view them as a corporate villain or a genius of evolution, you cannot deny the scale of their influence. We've covered the journey from a Bond Street shop to a multi-billion-dollar tech tobacco hybrid. But now, I want to hear from you, the Master Plan community. Do you believe a company like Philip Morris can truly change its DNA? Is it possible for the world's biggest cigarette maker to be the one that finally ends smoking? Or is this just the most elaborate marketing master plan ever conceived to keep us addicted to nicotine in a different form? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to see your analysis on this corporate shift. If you found this deep dive valuable, hit that like button and subscribe. We investigate the blueprints of power, money, and history so you can build your own master plan. I'm your host, and this was the story of the Empire of Smoke. See you in the next one.